The Greeks didn't invent hell. They invented something worse. Christian hell is fire and brimstone. Simple. You suffer. Fine. But the Greeks personalized eternal torture. They looked at your specific crime and designed a punishment that matched it perfectly. Endlessly. Forever. A man who tried to cheat death? Push a boulder up a hill for eternity. A king who served his own son as dinner? Stand in water you can never drink, under fruit you can never reach. A titan who gave fire to humans? Chained to a rock while an eagle eats your liver every day. Forever. 3 men, 3 of the most famous punishments in human history, all still talked about thousands of years later. And here's the question nobody asks. Which one actually deserved it? Because here's the thing. One of them was a monster. One of them was a clever cheater. And one of them was a hero. Let's find out who deserved what.
We start with the worst. Tantalus, king of Sisyphus, rich, powerful, and one of the few mortals ever invited to dine with the gods on Olympus. That's the highest honor a human could receive. Eating ambrosia, drinking nectar, sitting at the table of Zeus himself.
And what did Tantalus do with that honor?
He decided to test the gods. He wanted to prove they weren't actually all-knowing. So he killed his own son, Pelops, cut him into pieces, cooked him in a stew, and served him to the gods at dinner. All the gods immediately knew what was on the menu, all except one. Demeter, grieving for her lost daughter Persephone, was distracted. She took a bite. She ate part of Pelops' shoulder. The gods were horrified. They reassembled Pelops and brought him back to life, replacing his shoulder with ivory. And then they turned to Tantalus. His punishment is famous. He stands forever in a pool of water under a fruit tree. When he reaches for the fruit, the branches lift away. When he bends to drink, the water recedes. Some versions add a boulder hanging above his head, always about to fall. Hunger, thirst, terror, forever. And his name lives on in our language. The word tantalize, to show someone something they can never have, comes directly from Tantalus. He's still torturing us with his name. Did he deserve it? He murdered his own son. He cooked him. He served him to the gods. Yes, unequivocally yes.
Next, Sisyphus, king of Corinth, the craftiest man alive. Homer called him the craftiest of men. His crime? He cheated death. Twice. First time, Thanatos, death himself, came for Sisyphus. Sisyphus tricked him. He asked Death to demonstrate how his chains worked. And then he chained Death to a rock. With Death imprisoned, nobody on Earth could die. Wars had no casualties. The sick couldn't pass. No one died. For a while, death itself was broken. Eventually, Ares freed Thanatos, and Sisyphus died. But that wasn't the end. Before he died, Sisyphus told his wife not to bury him properly. So when he reached the underworld, he complained to Persephone. "My wife disrespected my corpse. Let me go back and punish her. I promise I'll return." She let him go. He went back to the surface. And he never returned. He lived to old age, happily, having escaped death twice. Only Hermes finally dragged him back by force.
His punishment? push a massive boulder up a hill. Every time he nears the top, the boulder rolls back down. He walks down, he pushes again, forever. The philosopher Albert Camus wrote an entire book about Sisyphus. He said we must imagine Sisyphus happy, because in the moment he walks back down the hill, fully aware the boulder will fall again, he's free. Which is beautiful. And also, Sisyphus definitely earned his punishment. He broke the universe. Death stopped working because of him.
Now the third, and this is where it gets complicated. Prometheus, a titan, not a mortal. His name means forethought, the one who thinks ahead. And in the myths, he's the reason humanity survived. When Zeus decided to withhold fire from humans, Prometheus stole it. He hid fire in a fennel stalk and brought it down from Olympus. He gave humans fire. And with fire, civilization, warmth, cooking, light, metalworking, science, everything.
Zeus was furious, not because Prometheus stole fire, but because Prometheus chose humans over gods. He sided with us. The punishment? Prometheus was chained to a rock. Every day, an eagle, the symbol of Zeus, would come and eat his liver. At night, his liver would grow back, so the eagle could eat it again, tomorrow, and the next day, forever. The Greeks knew this was horrific. The liver was thought to be the seat of emotion. So Zeus wasn't just torturing Prometheus's body, he was torturing his feelings, his soul, every single day. And Prometheus, a titan who could see the future, knew this would happen. He knew the price before he stole the fire. He did it anyway. Eventually, Hercules freed him, broke the chains, shot the eagle. And Zeus, maybe out of respect, maybe out of exhaustion, allowed it. So here's the question. Did Prometheus deserve his punishment? He broke divine law. He defied the king of the gods. Technically guilty. But morally, he's the reason you have a warm house and cooked food. Most people would call him a hero. The Greeks themselves had mixed feelings. They honored him as humanity's champion, even while admitting he defied Zeus. This one is not simple. And Tantalus, Sisyphus, and Prometheus weren't alone. Tartarus, the Greek pit of punishment, had other residents. Ixion, king of the Lapiths. He murdered his father-in-law, the first murder of a kinsman in Greek history. But Zeus, surprisingly, forgave him, brought him to Olympus, showed him mercy. Ixion repaid that mercy by trying to seduce Hera, Zeus's wife, the queen of the gods. He was so arrogant, he thought he could have her. Zeus made a cloud in Hera's shape. Ixion fell for it, and for his arrogance, he was bound to a wheel of fire, spinning forever, screaming, "Be grateful to your benefactor!" The Danaids, 50 daughters of Danus. 49 of them murdered their husbands on their wedding night. Their punishment? Fill a giant tub with water. But the tub has holes. The water always drains. They pour forever. It never fills. Sisyphus pushes. Tantalus reaches. Ixion spins. The Danaids pour. The Greeks really understood psychological torture, making you do something forever that never works.
So, which one actually deserved it? Tantalus killed his son, served him as food. 100% deserved, possibly the most deserved punishment in all of mythology. Sisyphus cheated death twice, broke the universe, arrested death himself. Also deserved. Maybe slightly less than Tantalus. He didn't kill anyone, but he did break reality. The Danaids murdered their husbands. Deserved.
Ixion murdered his father-in-law, then tried to seduce the queen of the gods after being forgiven. Deserved. Repeatedly. But Prometheus? He stole fire. He defied Zeus. He broke the law. And his punishment, an eagle eating his liver every day for eternity, was as brutal as any of them. Maybe the most brutal, since his body healed every night so the torture could start fresh.
And what was his crime? Giving humans fire, warmth, light, civilization. He was punished for helping us. The Greeks themselves couldn't agree on this. Some said Prometheus was rightly punished for defying the king of the gods. Others honored him as humanity's greatest champion. The playwright Aeschylus wrote a whole tragedy about how Zeus's punishment was unjust.
So the answer is Tantalus deserved it. Sisyphus deserved it. Ixion and the Danaids deserved it. But Prometheus, the one whose punishment was arguably the most brutal of all, was the only one who didn't. Which tells you something about the Greeks, and maybe about all of us. The person who helps humanity is tortured alongside the person who cooked his own son. Justice in Greek mythology was not always just.
Next video, we're going back to the beginning. The oldest story ever written down. Before Homer, before the Bible. A king, a wild man, a friendship, a flood, and the search for immortality. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the first story in human history. Subscribe, because the ancients are not done with us yet. And honestly, neither am I.